Has it ever crossed your mind that when you go to the polling unit to cast your vote, that you are rendering worship unto God? I know that as Christians in Nigeria, once the word, or almost any time the word worship is mentioned, what comes to our mind first, most times, is going to church, singing, and dancing unto God, an act of praises and thanksgiving. We call that worship. And for many Nigerian Christians, that is what worship means. And for some, worship goes beyond the music, is the entirety of the activities that we do in church during Sunday services. We also look at that as worship. Yeah, for some. Yeah. But for some people, in fact, it is so uh, saddening that some don't just see worship as all the activities that we do, we engage ourselves with during Sunday services in church, and they don't even see music as worship. To them, not just music, but there are specific styles and genres of music that we play that they consider as worship. So during service, you will hear some people say, let's sing praise songs, and some will say, let's sing worship songs, or let's be in the mood of worship. I am just giving you this background to just uh, jot your mind to the reality of how we have misunderstood the word worship. It's either we've misunderstood it, or bastardized it, or misused the word worship. But what does worship really mean, especially from scripture? The word worship is rooted in the Hebrew word avoda. In Arabic, it is rendered as ibadah. That is the word that we use even in Hausa language today. We call it, we use as ibadah in Hausa language today. So, in Islamic theology, you'll understand that the word ibadah means a Lord, and it means many things. In fact, is an integral part of the is the integral part of the Muslim life. In Christianity, the word worship is rooted in the Hebrew word avoda, like I have already mentioned, and that word is used to mean worship, to mean work, to mean service. So in the scripture, especially the Hebrew version of the Bible, you realize that whenever the word avoda is used, it is used to mean work, it is used to mean worship, it is used to mean service. It is the same word that is used in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, when God placed man in the garden and he instructed man to work on that garden. That is telling us that God gave man an instruction to work over the environment. Is instruction that is calling upon man to take care of his environment, and the way he will take care of that environment is by working on the environment. That is the word that is rendered in English today as worship. Maybe you've come across this understanding in your life. Maybe you've not come across it. But that is not the point here. The point here is that if we understand worship very well from this biblical perspective, we will realize that everything we do is worship. And I dare say literally everything. But then when we say literally everything, that means that the question would now be worship unto whom? Yeah, worship unto whom? We know that worship is an activity that is channeled towards a deity. It is only a deity that is deserving of worship. So when you are doing the right thing in the right way as a Christian to honor the God of the Bible, then you are rendering worship unto this God of the Bible. But if you're doing wrong things or doing things in the wrong way, maybe committing sin or carrying out certain wicked act, know that you are actually rendering worship, but not unto the God of the Bible. You're rendering worship unto something else or someone else. It could be yourself. That is where idolatry comes in. It could be worship of yourself or worship of any object or worship of any other person. But the word worship from biblical perspective is actually work. So let me put it this way. Worship is simply work that is done as an act of worship, honor unto God, and as an act of service unto humanity. So any work we do to honor God and to build human life, to build humanity, it is worship. That is what avoda means. It means work, it means worship, it means service. So going to office is worship. Uh, Writing notes is worship. Carrying out tasks assigned to you by your boss is worship. Embarking on errands is worship. Going to the polling unit to cast your vote is worship. That is how it is for us Christians. And we need, as Christians, to be deliberate, intentional, to make sure that this worship we are rendering it unto God. So when we cast votes at the polling unit, we are not just exercising our constitutional rights. We are not just carrying out our moral obligation and civil responsibilities as citizens of Nigeria, but we are rendering worship unto God. We are carrying out work in honor of our God. Imagine this. Just think about this for a moment. 2027 is coming. Is a national election year in Nigeria. As we are approaching this election year, what comes to your mind? I know that you're going to go to the polling unit to cast your vote. But whom are you going to cast your vote to? If you know that casting vote is an act of worship unto God, then you will make sure that you do it the right way. You will cast your vote to the right person. You will give your vote to the right candidate. You'll keep aside whatever personal benefits that you will gain out of it. You'll keep aside whatever personal sentiment that you have attached to anyone. Religious prejudices, biases, keep them aside. You will go there with a mindset that when you cast your vote, you render worship unto God. And when you know that when you carry that mindset, you'll be intentional about voting the right candidate. The candidate that you know will do the right thing. Because he's doing the right thing. His activities as a political leader, eventually when he wins, will also be an act of worship unto God. Think about that. It is important that we carry this mindset with us as Christians. And we walk with it all the time. This will change the way we view elections. Come 2027 and subsequently, it will influence positively the way we view elections in this country, especially as Christians. I remain yours, Mark Martis. I thought it would be useful for me to share this little insight with you, hoping that it will be a blessing to your life. It will make some impact upon your life. And if it does, be kind enough to state that in the comment box. Drop your thoughts, share your opinion, share your concerns, share your thoughts. If this video has impacted you, if this video has changed something inside of you, just drop it, share that in the comment section. This is Cass Church and Society series. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for engaging us in this video. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. See you in our next, looking forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, remain blessed. Thank you very much.